There's a lot of confusion around budgeting these days. It's much maligned. Let's take a look at this couple and see if we can figure out what budgeting really is. It's a pretty good joke, really, isn't it? But really, let's look at what they did. They said, okay, I've got our budget. What's our budget? Our budget is our plan. It's our plan for paying our expenses and funding our goals. And what's it balanced against? It's balanced against our income. So our budget is our plan for how we're going to fund goals, and we're going to pay our bills, our obligations, and balancing it against our income to make sure we can afford to do it. In this case, they can't afford food, clothing, and shelter. It's a good joke, but it's not a joke. This is why you need a budget. You need to have a budget. My money problems. Let me talk to you about how I learned about managing money. Number one, when I was young, I used to say, am I not making enough money? I was always running out of money. I never understood why I didn't have enough money. I thought I needed to get a second job or make more money at my current job. But the truth is, I didn't know how to manage money. I had to learn how to manage money. It was an epiphany for me. Then what should it cost me? I became really aware of the cost of things. I knew what I was spending, but I was trying to figure out, how much should I spend on groceries? How much should I spend on eating out or on coffee? What should these things cost me? It became a mantra. Credit cards and debit cards, these are beautiful, painful things because they put us in a difficult place sometimes. Either chewing up our money in our account with a debit card or getting us farther into debt we'd ever wanted to be. So I learned early on that credit cards and debit cards needed to be controlled. I needed to have a way to control these. It was key. Accounting to the rescue. I found myself mapping my checkbook to my account at the bank. And I thought, well, this is good. I'm balanced against my bank, but I instinctively knew that it wasn't going to help me plan for retirement or go on vacation. It wasn't going to help me plan for anything. It was just simply saying, oh, I'm good with the bank, which is an important thing. But I understood I needed to have a plan. My plan had to be in the form of a budget. So my conclusion was this. I decided to be proactive instead of reactive. And what that means is I was spending money every single week. So I wanted to look at my finances every week. I wanted to be very proactive, to do a weekly review of my finances. So at the end of the month, there were no surprises left. Otherwise, you just wait to the end of the month and you react to what happened and you can't influence it. You can't change it. It is what it is. It was a big conclusion for me. To succeed, follow a proven process. I needed a process. If I were going to review my finances every week, how was I going to do that? I needed a process to do that in a repeatable way, and that was plan to review. Use it in business successfully. I can use it in my finances successfully. And here's what I think. Planning is the most important thing, because if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. If you don't have a plan, you're going to fail. If you're going to build a house, you're going to follow a blueprint. And when the house is done, it better match the blueprint. That was your plan. If you're going to make a meal for the first time, you follow a recipe. If you're going to beat the best team in the league, you're going to have a game plan. I needed to have a game plan. Here's what it looked like for me. Planning was future-oriented. Accounting was past-oriented. I really didn't care too much about this right away. I really wanted to know what my plan was going forward into the future. How I was going to pay my bills now and in the future, fund my goals now and in the future, and how this is all going to fit within my income. That's the planning part. The do part was very simple. Just spend and save according to that plan and adjust for what life throws at me. So if I have to get a battery for the car, take the dog to the vet, those kind of things. But when I do the do part, it forms transactions over here. The accounting picks up at my bank, credit card company, things like that. And when it starts with a plan, then it's valuable information for me, and I can go look at that and see where maybe I got off plan or how I can improve my plan. And that completes the process. It's a continuous process. Week in and week out, that's my process. Good financial management required that I be proactive. I had to be proactive to get control of my finances. Does money talk? Mine did. It said goodbye. But here's one of the nuggets, one of the keys to the kingdom of financial management. Good, wise decision making. That's the key. You're going to decide, make financial decisions over and over again against competing desires. But if you do it wisely, meaning you're informed about it, you know the alternatives, you know the needs it meets, you know the wants it meets, you know how much you have to spend. If you make wise decisions, your finances will be good for you. Losing control of my spending, your spending, was like this. Income ran into my control center, which is my budget, and I funded my goals and paid my expenses off that budget. It's a beautiful thing, but I could lose income by living beyond my means. I could a huge mortgage, expensive cars, a maid, a gardener. I actually started cutting my own grass because I realized it was costing me so much, really, every month, right? And getting control of this is a self-discipline thing. And when I do, I can fund my goals. When I don't, I can't. And then budget leaks came up. And how did they come up? Well, because I was pulling out my debit card or credit card, and I was buying coffee and drinks and lunch out and dinner out. And I was doing that incidentally day in and day out, week in and week out. And it was chewing up my income so that at the end, I may not be able to fund those goals or maybe pay my rent. It was a serious issue. So plugging budget leaks and living within our income or my income was the key. So live within my income and then plug my budget leaks. Then, and only then, would I be allowed to direct deposit money from my paycheck to my goals. Simple and Finest Master Money Toolkit. We have an Evaluate section and we have a Budgeting section. Budgeting section is made up of Managed Money, Reviewing, Planning Ahead. Managed money is budgeting and income management together, tied together, so you can do the most with what you have. Review is a budget history, an expense history, and charts, and we keep an annual history of your budget and expenses, so that you can save that off through managed date over here, and keep that through history. And we have a budget model, income model to plan for those changes that are coming, big changes in life. Several budgeting demos are available for viewing. We just ask that you would take a look. See what you think. See if they can actually help you.